Amongst all of the good things that are happening at Wrexham AFC at the minute, the documentary's come out. It's gone down a massive hit amongst Wrexham fans. Paul Mullin has returned from injury. Wrexham are doing really well in the league. Of course, there had to be a bit of bad news in the middle of all of it. And yeah, today we're bringing you some disappointing news, but it's an update that I think a lot of Wrexham fans needed and wanted. And today we're going to be talking about the Kop, which is today's hot topic. But before we get going in today's video, if you're new to the channel and you're looking for all the best Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, this is the place to be. Get down there, click the red subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Like I said, this is your place for Wrexham content. So earlier on today, Wrexham did release a statement on the club website titled "The new Kop will not be open for the start of the 24-25 season with a projected build period of 12 months from commencement on the site." If you don't already, the new Kop for Wrexham AFC was set to be installed and up and running for the start of the 24-25 season, which is obviously the next season coming, but it's clear to see there's many issues that are holding Wrexham back from completing the Kop, and I think a lot of people were starting to speculate, why hadn't we even laid any foundations of the Kop? There's literally nothing there. It's just a clean slate of gravel across where the Kop should be. But yeah, nothing's really happened, and obviously Wrexham have now released this statement, which we're going to be looking into. Following on from that, Wrexham also confirmed that there is no date for starting on site. So there's no official date that's nailed on for when they are starting to redevelop the Kop, which is very disappointing. This is because several matters need to be resolved before that can be confirmed. Now, obviously we knew from previous updates it seemed like they were going to start as soon as they knocked the Kop down. Obviously Rob and Ryan paid money out of their own pocket to knock the Kop down, and yeah, it's slightly disappointing that we've obviously knocked it down months ago and nothing has really happened since that. Following on from that title, Wrexham have also said to enable a contract to build the Kop to be signed, the grant funding agreement from Wrexham County Borough Council needs to be finalised and the club satisfied that the conditions attached to the funding offer can be fulfilled. Now, what I can gather from that, it's sort of a, we need you to speed up the process. I think Wrexham are very eager, obviously, to get this Kop redevelopment done, and they're hoping that these negotiations will be completed before the end of October 2023. So this maybe is sort of a nudge to Wrexham County Borough Council to sort of just get on with it and try and speed the process up of getting the Kop underway, because obviously we've seen it's taking a while to find a solution to this problem, and I do think that this could possibly, like I said, be a nudge to the council to get this grant funding possible. Now, there's obviously several conditions that the club needs to oblige by to have this Kop redeveloped. The one that stands out for me is the removal of a low voltage cable that is currently lying under the Kop and the Wrexham University. So it's obviously a big issue because obviously the groundworks can't really fully commence until that is an issue. Now, I saw someone on Twitter saying it costs £200,000 to remove that wiring or to work around that wiring, which is, yeah, it's slightly disappointing. There's a lot of things that are like stopping us from getting this Kop redeveloped. Now, the other conditions on this list are the collapse of the existing Lee structure at the Stoke Kairas. Good progress has been made with the WST in this regard. They'll announce an update very, very soon, and the confirmation of the requirements to meet UEFA's Category 4 stadium status and that these can be achieved. A report is awaited from UEFA after a stadium visit. And from a practical perspective, to allow a contractor to commence, the following works also need to be completed. They need permanent diversion of existing sewer away from the land required for the Kop with Welsh Water and Admiral Taverns, the owners of the turf that's next to the racecourse ground. Now, if you cast your minds back to a couple of months ago when I did a video on the Kop, this was one of the points that I did bring up, the fact that the sewer was obviously stopping us, and it was proven to be an issue with the builders of the new Kop. Obviously that was an issue that is obviously lying in the way, and obviously, like I said before, the low voltage cable is currently underlying the Kop all the way through to the university. And obviously to remove this power cable, there obviously still needs to be that power going into the University of Wrexham, but Wrexham have put up that the university have now had planning permission for them to build a new power cable that is obviously sourced only to the university, and then obviously Wrexham can crack on with the Kop area, because obviously it seems to be that it's not really on our side. The fact that we've got the student accommodation next to the ground, obviously there's going to be a lot of power and wires and stuff that is obviously leading through to the university accommodation that will obviously lead onto the site of Wrexham Football Club. That's the case with the voltage cable that's underground, so that's an underlying issue that needs to be resolved as quickly as possible. There's obviously a few obstacles that are in our way of obviously that's stopping us from carrying on with the redevelopment of the Kop, which is obviously very disappointing, because for me, I'll say it now, I was excited. I thought the start of next season, there's a chance we go up, and there's a chance that we're in League One with a fully opened Kop, a new and increased 5,500 seater stand to the racecourse ground, but that is not going to be the case, which is bitterly disappointing. Obviously, like I said, we don't know what's going on with the WST in regards to the Kop stand. Are they possibly holding us back from doing it, or is it due to other circumstances? But either way, on the funding side of things, obviously the Gateway project manager said that there's no hold up on what is going on at the minute. The club needs to be satisfied with the needs to meet the conditions of the funding agreement, and they're progressing with these terms, and they're expected to sign and complete a legal agreement soon in order to obviously get the funding for the new Kop. Now, what is the solution for this Kop not being completed for next season? I think there's one that everyone is talking about across social media today, and it is a temporary stand. We've seen it with multiple football clubs, multiple teams in sport. They have been able to put up temporary stands in between them building a new one, like we've seen in, especially in football, we've seen with Gillingham, who play in our league, Bristol Rovers in the league above. So teams are able to put up these temporary stands, and they work very, very well. Obviously, Wrexham fans will be in the temporary stand when we go away to Gillingham in League 2 this season. So I think that's definitely a possible solution to all of this, as long as they can get it safe, as long as they can get the site cleared, and it's obviously, we know that it's going to be safe to house supporters in that area behind the goal, then I do not see why they won't put a temporary stand up, even if it's like maybe 500 to 1,000. I think Newport as well did it for one of their FA Cup games against Leicester, and they had very, very short notice. So it is possible, as long as it's safe, like I said, and as long as the site is safe for it to house obviously a temporary stand, then I don't see why we shouldn't be doing this. And as for the price, I highly doubt it's going to be way out of our budget. I don't think we're going to be uncomfortable with the price of a temporary stand, because let's be honest, they're not going to cost tens and thousands of millions, but it's definitely a solution that we should definitely be looking into. It's a win-win situation. You cover up for the Kop not being done in time, and you allow more spectators to be inside the racecourse ground on a match day. So I do think that this should be a solution that Wrexham should be looking into. Obviously, the members on the board, I think we should definitely be looking into this as a solution, and it could obviously slightly meet the demand for people to come watch Wrexham at the minute. The only issue that I possibly have with this are if it is fully safe. Obviously, it's a big area behind the goal, and there could be some safety concerns, but if it's safe, it is a no-brainer to do this. It is a no-brainer 100%, and like I said, the only thing that I think can sort of hold this back is, are we fully committed in going for a temporary stand? Is this what we want? In conclusion, the Kop will not be complete for the start of the 24-25 season. Bitterly disappointing, lots of obstacles in the way, like I said, the cable underground, the power sources that is going through to the university, and obviously yet to secure the funding for the Kop. So yeah, a lot of obstacles in the way, but I'm sure they will be resolved, and we will be seeing that Kop full of Wrexham fans in hopefully the next year or two. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you agree with the fact that we should possibly bring in a temporary stand? Do you think it's safe? Do you think it is the right solution? Do you think it can be a very effective solution to this matter? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and like I said, this is disappointing news, but roll on Stockport on Saturday, and let's hope for another big 3 points up the town.